We are live, man. You remember that Eric? I know, right?
Yeah, dude,
Hey, you remember that
for
old
real.
song, Eric being Rakim? It's been a long time. I shouldn't
Yeah,
have left you.
yeah. I mean, dude, you know what? I know all of us have been super busy, and I
Yeah,
know that that there's people that like listening to us talk for some reason. I don't know. I mean, God bless you. God bless you for
yes,
liking it.
indeed.
But yeah, man. Like I've been feeling the absence. You,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I've been like, oh, where are my boys at? Like ah,
yeah, man.
you
It,
know.
it, it really is, man. It's really hard to find, consistent people that you consistently like, So
Yeah.
this has always been like an absolute pleasure to do the show and everything. And I actually get a lot of messages and questions like when you guys coming back on, on this type of
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Good. No,
man.
I appreciate. Are there people? Okay, hold on. Let
Yeah, we
me
got a
let me like.
few.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Ah,
Word.
there's Sadiq. Hold on. Boom. Let me check
How
this
you doing,
out
guys?
Ah,
here.
I made it. I
yes.
made it.
What's
The crew
happening,
is
man?
How
complete.
are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah,
Do you know what?
the
The clocks got changed in the UK.
Ah.
the
So I
gang's
thought
back
it was.
together again.
Yeah, they've
Germany, I
messed
think
up.
we stopped doing that. That's why. I mean, that's why.
Hey,
For me, we stopped changing the clocks here. Germany
Yeah,
stopped pulling that.
hey,
doesn't make sense.
Sadiq.
Yo,
Sadiq, so I'm a Guy Ritchie fan, right? And for
yeah,
those of you that don't know that watch, like I write and I'm also writing screenplays and doing some other stuff. So like, I have an interest in movies and dialogue and how things are fleshed out. And I'm a Guy Ritchie fan. And over the past couple days, I've watched a few different Guy Ritchie flicks. I watched The
yeah,
Gentleman, I've watched Snatch, I've watched
yeah,
Rock and Rolla, and
yeah.
and um and
Lock,
every
stock.
one of these no, no, but I've seen it.
Oh,
I
right.
haven't watched it in the past few days, but I've seen it. Yeah. Um, but every time I watch one of these movies, I think of Sadiq, man. Like I'm just like, like I watch this shit, and I'm just like, oh, you
Nice.
know what I mean? Like I know part of it's the accent, but part of it's the fact that I know he lives in the area, like he's
Yeah,
familiar. You know,
yeah,
be like if there was a movie in L.A. or something. You're just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah,
okay, yeah, but no, good to have everybody back together again, man.
yeah, yeah.
Indeed, man.
Likewise,
It has
likewise.
been mad. What you guys
It
been up to,
hasn't.
man?
Oh, just life,
Yeah,
kids, work. So yeah, it's been a bit crazy. It's been a bit crazy.
yeah.
I
I
finished
can
my
say the same thing,
screenplay.
man. Nice,
Yes,
Man,
and I've already
nice.
gone through like two or three edits. Well, actually, like three or four, if I'm going to be honest. But like three or four edits, and it's solid. And I am not going to put anything out on Front Street necessarily here because I don't want to put an eye on anything. I'm
Yeah,
yeah,
Italian. We have those kind of that kind of juju, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I have some people that are interested, and they are people that have the ability to make this like a real thing. So
brilliant.
I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to Los Angeles,
Yeah,
and I'll be meeting up with people. I'll be out there for a couple weeks, and it'll be good.
hope that works out,
nice,
man.
man. Me
Yeah,
too, man.
thank
I
you,
really
man.
do.
Yeah,
And I can
yeah,
say I
yeah.
know a big
No, I
time
appreciate
screenplay out
that.
there.
Hollywood becomes.
No, it's a
Yeah,
trip. Writing screenplays is a trip because it's its own format. It's its own special language.
mhm.
There's a lot of technicalities and like weird little things that you do that. So there is a learning curve. I mean, it's not that you just sit down and you're like, oh, I'm going to write a script.
Yeah,
No, I mean, if you want to like have people in the industry take you seriously, there's a definite format and a definite way that
okay.
you do it. So there was a learning curve to it, and that was part of the process,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
writing it. But man, I'm really confident in the material that I wrote, and I'm sure that other people are going to like it as well. So
Nice,
yeah,
let's get it happen, man.
yeah, yeah.
nice, 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 nice.
So what, man? You've been a busy
Dude,
Abu. You've been
oh
busy like a
man,
motherfucker, man. Oh, excuse me.
bro. Nah, that's all good, man.
You've been busy. You've been
I've
busy.
been busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, um, yeah, I've always been into cryptocurrency, And I actually, me, my daughter, and one of my sons, when we first got like, really these new generations of powerful cell phones came out, we actually tried to mine cryptocurrency on our phones.
Oh
It just tore
wow.
those things up, man. It would make them overheat,
Yeah.
and just really wore the life down on them. And so,
Wow.
then I got into crypto trading, some business here and there, and then I dropped it for a while. And now I actually started mining crypto again, but this time I built an entire like, GPU rig. And I've never done anything like this in my life, dude. I just went complete monk mode. Actually, people are probably sick of my Twitter right now because it's literally being run by Hype Fury and it's just recycling a bunch of tweets I did before. You probably seen like the same tweets in the past like 3 weeks that you
Uh-oh. What happened?
It's frozen.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's that Germany Wi-Fi,
seen
man.
in the past year. It's
It's-
probably
Yeah.
man. It's really sad. Okay, there we go. Am I back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Germany's got to catch up, man. They make some really good cars, but their Wi-Fi's
Right?
tripping on
Oh,
me.
they're terrible, man. So, I never built anything
Right.
in my life like in terms of computer systems or whatever else. And it's just basically it's an open computer with like, but far more complicated. And dude, I'm not even joking. Every single step I ran into major problems. And it was a nightmare. What should probably take like a full 2 days, not even a full 2 days. If you have all the parts, should take like a few hours. Took me like 3 weeks, basically, to 14 days. This is day number 15, but now it's running stable. No problems. It's making me money just chilling in this cold room in my house. But dude, it was just a nightmare. I'm like literally like a computer analyst expert all of a sudden in 14 days, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's just been mad, bro, getting this thing working.
yeah.
But I learned a ton of crap that, I really wish I would have learned earlier, dude. It's been really, it's been stressful, dude. It's been stressful.
Oh,
I won't
Yeah.
lie.
but so is it like has it started making money, or is it something
Yeah,
that?
it's making good money, man.
Oh,
Actually,
oh
I was
man.
surprised. Everybody, because what it does, it uses GPUs, graphics card processors that usually are used for video games, and instead, what it does is it mine crypto. And I got good ones, the RX 5700s by XT by Radeon. Everyone had said don't buy the ones made by Asus, and I actually went out and bought the ones by Asus, and I just got them to work fine now. They're really like really making some decent money, you
So
know.
so I mean, without putting you on blast in front of our live audience, because we
Mm.
didn't talk about this ahead of time. um,
Okay.
are you comfortable in saying like what kind of money they're making, or what kind of turnaround you're looking at this, or like what's going on, man? Because this interests me. I'm
My
like,
my
oh shoot.
turnaround is going to be around 8 to 10 months, depending on the price of crypto right now. Right now, with the price how it's dipped, there's been a dip. I'm mining Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, so I stay on the Ethereum blockchain because of my GPUs. They're good at that. Um, and that's taken a dip right now. So right now we're looking at like 10 to 11 months turnaround. But if it rises back up to when I first started building it, we're probably talking about 8 to 7 months. Yeah, turnaround. I'll give you prices in the private chat, what it took to build it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, so you
No,
get a good
no, you
idea.
just because we didn't talk about that, and I'm like,
No,
oh, you're mining your own stuff because I have
dude,
I
I
have
just decided
Bitcoin.
to do it on a whim. I was just like,
Yeah, yeah, I
let's
have
do it.
Bitcoin, and that stuff interests me because I've done transactions and I've done whatever, and I know everybody gets their little fees and whatnot, and I'm just like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, that's
Sweet
cool.
man. He says you just experienced my full-time job as an IT manager. Every small change makes causes big problems. Dude, it's man, I can't tell you. I was ready to throw that thing out the window. It cost a ton of money. I was just like, I was ready to toss it really. I was
Hey,
it's just
so when I came home, I became a millwright, and I was an apprentice millwright, and after 5 years, I
okay.
became a journeyman millwright. Okay, we had to go through
I didn't
10
know that.
periods of yeah, and we work on rotating and complex machinery, so like turbines, compressors,
Mhm.
conveyors, like pumps, all these different things in like these industrial settings, power, like nuclear power plants, refineries, whichever, right? And we had this thing that was like kind of common knowledge. It's common sense when you actually stop and think about it, but it's the less moving parts, the better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
less
indeed.
machinery that you have involved, that's the less that can screw up, you know, and halt your thing. So yeah,
I heard a
man,
pilot say
there's
that he said like why he didn't do his helicopter licenses. This is just it's too many moving parts and it's vibrating. He says that's a bad combination.
yeah. No, real talk, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? My grandfather. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my grandfather used to have this aviation business, and I grew up flying. Okay, and I grew up
told me.
flying. Yeah, what we call STOL aircraft, which stands for short takeoff and landing. Okay, so like propeller, you know, like propeller stuff, right?
Yeah.
But my grandfather used to fly helicopters. I never used to fly helicopters, right? But he did, and I remember asking him like, how come you don't fly the helicopters? You're just into the planes and you don't do that anymore and all that. And he goes, you know how like if you have a 5-gallon water bucket, it's got about halfway full of water and you start spinning around in a circle. And I go, yeah. And he goes, what's that water doing? And I go, well, the centrifugal force is putting it up against the back of the bucket, you know, so it's not going to spill out, you know, whatever. He goes, yeah, that's right. He goes, now what happened if you let go? I'm like, oh, well, the bucket would just. He goes, now imagine one of those rotor blades
Just
up there, like, yeah, just, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot of gliding capability. It's like something happens with one of those, you just kind of like
You're
drop
going
like a
down.
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But it's been nice. It's been fun. But it's just but you know what the crazy outcome of this is? It's not even the money. I find it difficult to engage on Twitter anymore. I just don't find it interesting anymore all of a sudden.
Dude, you know what? It's kind of a bummer like that because I know what you're talking about. And I know that there's a lot of just too much like non-realistic world stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because Twitter's so caught up in like the current, the now, the whichever. And a lot of that stuff's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
And what helped was the crypto mining community is probably the least toxic on the internet. I didn't meet a single wanker in the entire time because I went online. I needed a lot of help. You know, sometimes I get stuck and I just didn't know where to turn to next. And I mean, I didn't meet a single anal sphincter, not one, And I dealt with a lot of different groups on Discord, whatever else, dude. So it's just people who are focused and they want things done with results. They don't have time for all the goofiness. They don't want to do goofy. They don't troll. They don't stalk. They don't, none of that stuff, man. It's really, it's a night and day internet experience. These are guys who want stuff done and they want to figure out how to get it done and they don't really play around with much else. So you can really, just opposed to like Twitter, you come to see actually on Twitter who's serious and who's not, and that number of serious people.
And that's
ask a quick question?
Yeah,
because both of you are talking about crypto, and I haven't got that much knowledge on it. So I'm sure I'm probably not the only person watching that probably doesn't have a lot of knowledge on it as well.
Yeah.
Can you lot actually break down what cryptocurrency is and how to get into it for those that are interested and what to expect from the whole crypto world? Might also be a good something, bit of knowledge. I want to know.
But I'll probably sound crazy talking about it.
I mean, I'll try and break it down only because I have some. Yeah. And I'm not super duper knowledgeable in the specifics, so I'll try and break it down in like layman's terms. Okay, it's almost kind of like a type of stock, but it's a currency. All right, and what happens is it's volatile, and all volatile means is that it swings wildly. Like it can be up or down a few percentages on any day. Like it's not something that's real steady climbing up. It does like this, like if you're looking at the ticker, okay? But it's steadily been going up. So even though it's like on the high now, there's a lot of people that know way more than me that are predicting that it's just going to keep rising like that too. And you don't need to buy like a whole Bitcoin. You can buy percentages of Bitcoin, like you can buy like 0.02317 Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like just whatever amount you want. But since I've owned it, which has been under a year, I've made a lot of money off of it.
So are you selling your shares of the Bitcoin?
Me?
No, I'm going to be sitting on them for a minute.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. Right now, I'm
Okay,
sitting
so
on
you're
it.
just watching the value of what you've bought just go up and up.
Yeah, because even though it does this, right, like a ticker, it gradually is going up, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
has
cool,
wild fluctuations.
yeah, but over here in Bucharest, they have Bitcoin ATMs.
Wow.
So like without having to like reveal your identity, reveal
That's
your
nice,
whatever, you
man.
go up to this ATM, you have to wait for the thing to go through, you know, for it to be validated at least once. So it's like the process is about 10 or 20 minutes, but essentially it spits out a coupon. You scan that coupon, you do whichever. And then like once it's validated once or twice, you go back to the machine with the coupon and you scan it and the shit spits out cash and you can get a bunch of cash. Like I've pulled out like 10 grand in Bitcoin cash.
Nice.
You know, like so it's pretty badass, you know. So it's just one of those things to where, I mean, if you're really like hell bent on keeping the government out of your stuff, it's a way to do it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I hold right now personally. What I mine, I hold. I'm waiting for like the price to go back up. So we'll see. There's supposed to be a big fork in like the not a fork, excuse me, but there's supposed to be some changes in like how Ethereum Classic is mined and everything. That's going to alter the price. So it's either going to make it rise or fall. So I'm waiting till the end of October to see what happens if I switch to mining Ethereum. But basically, yeah, it's cryptocurrency. And like you said, it's decentralized. There's no government body or authority, overriding, overseeing it. I don't think you could take Bitcoin loans and all that stuff. So it's like, it doesn't function in the same way that a fiat currency does, where it's like, let's just print more money. There's a limited amount of every type of Bitcoin, or excuse me, of cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, there's like so many that can be found, period, by, the processors, the miners that find them. And so depending on how many are actually, mining as opposed to how many aren't, the price, its value fluctuates. And then you have stuff like supply and demand and all that also.
What do you mean by mining?
Sorry. It's a machine that basically like, now this is the part that I don't even really know how to explain this, and I don't really know.
The reason why Bitcoin is cool is because it's decentralized, meaning that like it's the users of Bitcoin who essentially monitor the shit of Bitcoin, all right? And you have these people called miners. And what miners are doing is all the different transactions, they're all numbered, they're all sequenced, they're all whatever. And the miners are like the people that are doing that. And the reason why they're doing that is because they get rewards. So they get like for mining, they get like a little bit of Bitcoin, right? So
you make money off the transaction fees too. I didn't know that. You make money off the permanently, as long as those ones that you mined are in circulation. There's a transaction fee, and you get a percentage of that transaction fee as the miner. I didn't know that actually.
That's badass. Yeah. So essentially, that's what it is. Is they're the people that are processing the transaction, right? And like adding it to like the books, because the books, like all the different transactions of the Bitcoin, they're public. Like you can find them, right? And that's kind of like the way that it makes it, like no bank or no whatever, is up on, as long as you know the number of the transaction, it happens. Hey, and for anybody that's watching or anything like that, I will say, even though Bitcoin is still trending up, like I think it was at like 13,000 a little while ago. Well, I don't think, I know it was, but it's still a good time to get it. Like they're talking about like within the next year or so, like it being up in the 6 figures. And keep in mind, for those that are like, oh, impossible, Bitcoin, even if it's 11, 12, 13,000 now, whatever. Bitcoin started at like 5 cents a coin.
Yeah, it went through the roof.
Okay, 5 cents, and now we're talking about like over $10,000 a coin, and well over $10,000 a coin.
See, yeah, the
So
figures of everything's changed today. So this morning when I woke
yeah,
up, Bitcoin was at like 9,000 something. Now it's at 10,900. So it's almost at 11,000. It started off at just above 9,000 this morning. Now it's almost 11,000, and it's two
it dipped,
o'clock.
huh? Because
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
it was up.
it did. It
Yeah,
goes wild.
yeah, and that's one of the things too, is a lot of people will follow this stuff day in and day out. Like one of the things about like just having Bitcoin and holding it, because I'll continue to buy it, is that you don't really need to like. I mean, I still check every day. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it's like I'm not one of those people to where I need to check every 15 minutes, to see what Bitcoin's doing because I'm like thinking I'm a day trader or something like that. It's like no, it's just it does what it does.
Yeah, mine actually, I'm looking right now. It's like the amount that I'm getting on a weekly basis because I mine over a pool, and what a pool is basically as an individual miner. If I just put my machine out there and started mining, it's pretty weak. Even though it's powerful in my regard as one machine, in terms of all the machines that are out there, it's actually quite weak, in comparison.
Yeah,
So what happens is
right.
you pool together with other miners. There might be like 50 guys like me that just got a single machine. Together our machines make like one massively powerful machine. So we'll get like
Right.
one block, because apparently with the blockchain, there's a block. The block is like Bobby said, it's broken down into like, see it like a dollar, a $1 bill. $1 can be broken down into 100 pennies. And so a block in the blockchain is similar. You don't, like you said, you don't have to buy one full Bitcoin, just like you don't need one full dollar. You can have 2 cents, you can have 50 cents, you can have one full dollar. It's the
Right.
same
Right.
concept. So basically what we do is go in, we break down a block as a group. And so I'm in a mining pool, and what was my point with the mining pool? And oh yeah, the prices went up. So when Bitcoin goes up, you find that mostly, most currencies go up with it. And right now, the amount that I was looking at just an hour ago, my weekly earnings has gone up significantly just by, Bitcoin going up, even though I'm not mining Bitcoin, because normally there is a trend to where it's like the Bitcoin and then the Ethereum chain coins go up with it. They tend to fluctuate together. So with that rise, I've actually got a rise in profits. So if it goes up high enough, I'll sell what I have, and then I'll just keep mining, because
Yeah. So like when I'm talking about doing
sell
those
high, mine
those
low.
when I'm talking about doing those Bitcoin ATM exchanges, it's the miners that are validating the exchange.
Yeah.
You get what
Yeah,
I'm
sometimes
saying?
I get that.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
get like
yeah.
a
So
thing
I
that
go.
says it's the zero share. It's a validating like an actual.
Yeah. So that's what that is. So the miners are an integral part of the process.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and the reason why, like, and I know we're kind of going deep into this, but like not too long ago there was an incident called the halving, right?
Yeah.
Is because Bitcoin is the way that they built in kind of like an anti-inflation stop to it, is that they're only ever going to make a certain amount. Okay, so there comes a time when they're doing this that the Bitcoin miners, they're making so much, the amount that they make halves. So like it goes down by half. Okay. And what that does is it promotes the current amount of Bitcoin, and it like kind of slows the process for it going to its full extent, because now miners aren't making as much as they were. They're making half as much, right?
Yeah.
Which is the halving. So like there's all these little like kind of things built into it, but it's really unique. And that's one of the things too, like, when stocks and bonds and all this other stuff came about, there was a lot of people sitting on money that was literally in treasure chests in their mansion somewhere, and that was like how they kept their money. And then there was a new way to make money, and then there was a new way to make money on that. And so you kind of got to like stay up with the times, and it's like, oh, now this crypto, like here's another way to make money. So that's like kind of what the deal is with it.
Yeah.
So what about, for example, a criminal, let's say a drug dealer, puts his money into crypto
Mm-hmm.
and then
I'm just kidding.
takes it back out, and then he gets stopped and police ask for proof of earnings like they do in the UK if they see you with a large amount of money. Can he say, I got it from Bitcoin, and not have to explain?
Well, here's
process?
the thing. With the Bitcoin ATM, it does give you a receipt.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could claim that way. Now, if they were to start some kind of criminal investigation on you, like nobody's safe from one of those. So they'll just subpoena everything, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay. Well, how did you get this? How did you whatever?"
All right. So they kind of go.
Yeah, but that's anything. That's
Yeah.
anything. And I know people think
Yeah.
like crypto is 100% safe and like or 100% non-government, and in a way you can make it that way, to where like if you just threw the receipt away and you're just like, fuck you bitches, I got money, that's it. You know what I mean? Like deal with it. Like I mean you could play that route, you know what I mean? But ultimately, like the law, like if they want to pull up everything you've done, they will pull up everything you've done.
Yeah.
They'll
is a
take all
degree
your
of
computers.
traceability.
They'll take all your IP stuff from your internet, all everything, and that'll be that.
Yeah,
Like that. Yeah.
It's not totally untraceable. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, totally like untraceable." To a degree, they're right and they're wrong. Like for
Right.
me, it's kind of not because I mine. I have a wallet and I'm registered with the pool. So eventually, somewhere, my information is connected to my wallet. So they have an idea, and like Bobby said, on the blockchain, everything is traceable, everything's visible, so you could see this wallet mined this money and this wallet transferred this money to there. So in terms of like, laundering, whatever else, eventually, even if I'm not connected to that criminal, they could like trace it back. Okay, at some point I was involved in terms of the mining and selling this initially. Now that doesn't, of course, make any sort of criminal association, but because your wallet, unless you make a wallet, which this is completely possible, you can make a wallet without like any sort of name, address, anything connected to it. You can put money in there and take it out and be largely anonymous. But at some point, depending on how deep and how much you go into stuff, like if you use like one of those exchanges or something and you got to register, you got to give them they treat it like a bank. You got to send them your passport information, ID, this, that, the other, phone numbers. So depending on how technologically savvy you are, if you know how to just do direct trading and whatnot, otherwise there is going to be a degree of traceability. It's not 100% like, like a lot of guys, like, unless you're a tech person, and like I said, you can buy and sell without exchanges and all this type of stuff. It's really, there is a degree of traceability. So, it's not
So there's a lot of
dream
myths.
either.
Yeah, so there's a lot of myths surrounding cryptocurrency.
To a degree, yeah. For the average person, yes, for sure.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like for those of you that I mean, I'm sure there's some that think like they've got all their stuff covered and all their bases, handled and all that stuff, right? But like, if any government, not just the United States government, but like any government, if they want to know what you're doing,
they're gonna find you.
Or like if they want to know what's up, or they want to know whatever, they're gonna know. That's what's up.
That reminds me. Did you hear about the Incro chat? What happened recently?
No,
all right, so basically there's these phones that were going around called Encro.
Okay.
And they weren't traceable. Apparently they weren't traceable. It was encrypted. I think they were based in Holland. And a lot of drug dealers, a lot of even up to assassins were using it.
Wow. Okay.
And for a few years it was, it was one of those things where if you knew, you knew. But it started to get a bit popular where a lot of rappers were talking about having their Incro, and you know how things are. And then earlier on this year, the police hacked into it. And it literally, there was raids all over Europe, millions of pounds recovered, drugs recovered, even down to failed assassination attempts. Because what happens when you text, it was supposed to delete the text and the text disappears or whatever, but police have found a way to hack the system and crashed everything down. And there's, it's caused a big problem in the underworld as a result of it. So when they want to know, they'll find out.
That's the thing, man. It's like you gotta go back to carrier pigeons or something.
It's true.
Dude.
Technology is not safe. It's not as safe as we think it is.
No, it's not. No. It's really not. Yeah, man. Oh man, but that's what I've been up to, dude. It's been like a real adventure. It's been. I'm ready to start over and build another one now.
I met with Zuby and
I saw that, man.
And his girlfriend. They're out here, And I was on Zuby's podcast, like, shoot, almost 2 years ago now. Like, I've met with him in San Francisco. We've talked a few times, both on and offline. And he's a very well-spoken cat, like, I mean, he's got a lot of ideas. He's a true believer in the sense that, that you can make a difference in the system, and, you can be that voice, and whichever, he's got that young man's drive, you know what I mean? And his girlfriend was very pleasant too, and so it's we had this conversation about, like, American politics, okay? Yeah. And they asked me if, when I was going back, if I was going to vote, right? Now, traditionally, and you guys may, those of you watching may disagree with me, and that's absolutely your prerogative. But just as important as your right to vote is your right not to vote, okay? Like, they don't make us line up and pick one, all right? And being 43 years old, I've just kind of seen that a lot of the politics are just bullshit, and the politicians are bullshit, and whichever, right? So I was asked about, if I was going to vote, and I was like, yeah, I might if it's convenient, but if not, whichever, like, but, and it was kind of like question, and these are young people, these are. These are people that still have that belief, they're kind of going, well, this may make a difference, and this may make a difference, and blah, 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 blah. And my opinion has always just kind of been like, hey, you know what? The controlling factors are going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And like, and it's like, whether I waste my hours going down to a ballot and voting or not, like, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Like,
illusion of choice. Yeah.
Right.
Illusion of choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Do people think like the people that actually rule the world would leave decision making to people that have no sense, people that don't even know how to run their own households?
Yeah.
That's like me leaving the decision to run my house to my kids. I might ask them, how do you feel about doing this and what? But ultimately, I make the rules.
Yeah.
So
indeed.
Yeah. So I mean, it's nice that that's still out there. The true belief and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, they're going to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there ain't no stopping it.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Changing the system from within, that mentality, it's really I don't want to call it naive, but it's like, I guess it's nice to have, to actually have that belief. I think when we get older, we actually see the world, we live in it, and then you're just like, it's not that it's ground us down, but we're just like, you know what, there's nothing we can do there. So
there is no changing the system from within.
Let's fix what we can in terms of our own lives. Because they're just going to do what they want to do, how they want to do it, no matter what we say.
That's the whole point of the system. Like, you can adapt to the system, you can make the system work for you, but like changing the fucking system, like, that ain't happening.
Yeah, you need a revolution.
That ain't happening. The only way that's happening is from without, not from within.
Yeah.
Okay, because the system's designed to monitor those little things that might have it change itself. Like it can take care of those. So you got to have a whole other deal going on. But
it's a simple fact that authority never concedes power. You have to take it. Power is taken.
Yeah.
It's rarely conceded. So it's just and let's just look at dudes nowadays. They're firing people and crying and making safe rooms in universities over being misgendered. They're not taking power. It's just not. There's not going to be a change, Yeah. I think the closest we came is the whole BLM. What do you call it? BLM protests, and that's not going to go far. I mean, we saw what that clown show.
And that's a bummer too, because like, if there's an actual message behind something, or like an actual whatever, you might get something accomplished. But if
Yeah.
like your whole platform, it doesn't have a cohesive message that you can present, and that
Yeah.
like the average person can just fucking comprehend, then yeah, you're asked out, and that sucks. Because
Yeah.
I can tell you straight up. Now, I had my ass kicked plenty of times when I was a kid by the cops. Okay, and I'm a white boy from Orange County, and like but so that being said, like I know and saw like firsthand that yeah, there's some racist fucking gnarly cops out there, and they don't give a fuck, and this and that. But it's like if you don't have a type of okay, well, this is how we're going to fix it, and this is what we're doing going from here forward, or whatever, it's not going to work out for you, because it's not only for the people that are in power, but it's for the average person who has to get behind it. Because if you don't have the people support and all that shit, you're done. You're just dead in the water.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing, a lot of these people, they want to bring into play, movements and these types of things that really have consequences for everybody else, but not themselves. And so that's why you find that there's not a lot of popular support for a lot of these movements, because when you really observe them and view them and look at what it entails in terms of consequences, it's like, okay, my benefit is exceptionally limited. Like defund the police.
Yeah. Come on, that's ridiculous. It's like that is ridiculous. What, we're gonna have a sheriff and cowboys?
I mean, like, what's going on here? How does that benefit me as a private citizen? And so,
hey, Sadiq,
Sadiq,
because you have like history of doing time, as do I, and I've already got my opinion on this. Okay, but let me ask you, because it may be a little different being from a different country and all. Like, what is your overall opinion on the profession of police officer?
I feel like it's a necessity in some part, but I just feel like based on the way that certain systems are set up, it's more for the benefit of the state than the civilian in some cases, where I feel like that is their priority. But it would be nice where citizens' rights are a priority for the police, But I would never want a country where there's no police. It wouldn't. That wouldn't make no sense, Regardless of what I did and what I used to get up to, I understood the need for police. It wasn't personal. Do you know what I mean? My dislike for them was more for the fact of you're stopping me from getting. You're stopping me from getting my money. So
it's a professional dislike. No, totally.
Disturbing me. You're disturbing me. But I personally, I've had run-ins with racist police. There are a few racist police. But if I'm being totally honest with myself, my main problem was the fact that I did not want them to stop me from the things I was doing. That was literally my main problem. You're disturbing me. You're an inconvenience to me making my money or doing things I want to do. So therefore, you're my enemy. But now that I'm a normal civilian, I don't have I won't say I don't have a problem with them, but they're not on my mind 24/7. I'm not ducking and diving from them. I'm respectful to them, and that's it.
I'm a white, well, actually, I'm Italian, and some people would disagree on whether those two are the same or not. But either way, I appear white, and I've seen a grip of racist cops, man.
Your volume's quite low. Your volume's very low.
I mean, I know there's racist cops out there. I've seen them, and they weren't even being racist towards me. But like, if I'm gonna keep it 100, I'm like, oh yeah, they fucking exist like a motherfucker. Like,
Bobby, you're low. Your voice is low.
Oh, can you hear me?
Just about.
Fine. I'm doing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyways, I was just saying that like, even though it wasn't always directed towards me, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. Like I know it exists. Like it just it is what it is.
You know what it is? From my perspective, yeah, there is racism in police. However, if you go to Jamaica, the people have a problem with the police the same way they have a problem with police in America. If you go to Nigeria, where they're currently having protests, they have a problem with police, regardless of the skin color. So I don't think it's actually just the racial part of it. I think it's a power dynamic.
Yeah,
that's the problem. There's a major power dynamic.
I agree too.
That causes oppression, and with people that are poorly trained. In the case of Nigeria, these police officers are surviving on pittance. They're poorly trained. They're coming from impoverished backgrounds. The barracks that they're living in are not fit to even piss in. So then you've got these people, poor. Their uniform is terrible. Everything about them is terrible. And they're now seeing people who appear to be affluent, appear to be enjoying life. It's just going to wind them. It's going to wind them up. And
well, you know what?
Go ahead. Then they start antagonizing the youth, and you know it's the same problem all over the world. When there's a disparity in terms of wages, education, poverty, and then you've got a police force tasked with dealing with these type of issues. So race is one aspect of it, but wherever you go in the world and there's poverty, the general population hate the police.
Yeah,
hey, I agree, because
Brazil police are considered to be highly brutal, and they don't seem to discriminate. They just seem to knock everybody out or shoot.
Well, check it out. Even here in Romania, okay, like the general population, the GP, they really don't like the cops. And I've seen like the average citizen like straight cuss out a Romanian cop. Now I'm used to that LAPD type response, right? So like I'm watching and I'm like, oh, somebody's about to get their ass beat, you know, like somebody's about to get tased, they're gonna get messed up, right? And like the cop just takes it. They kind of like just hang their head and they're, you know, just like, okay, you know, whichever. And I'm just like, whoa, that cop is even taking that verbal abuse, because like in America, like if you try and like in California, like LAPD, like you try and cuss out a cop or get live, like he's going to whoop your ass, and then his partners are going to say in their reports that you assaulted them.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's what's going to happen. Like, and that'll be that. It'll be their word against theirs. And if you even try and fight it, they're going to be like, oh, do you expect us to believe that 3 officers of the law are conspiring to lie against you? And dude.
Well, yeah, actually,
trust me, I've been through it. I know what it is. It is what it is. Like it's really screwed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at least in Europe, they still have that power break, or in other places besides the U.S. But I've noticed it, especially here in Romania. Like the cops don't have nearly as much power, dude. Some of them don't even carry a gun.
Yeah, UK.
Like, do you know how unheard of that is in the United States?
Yeah.
Like there is no police officer that does not carry a gun. There is none. Period. Like you can't find them.
In UK, they don't carry guns, but the guns are very close by.
Right. Well, these ones they got a utility belt like motherfucking Batman. Oh, excuse my language, but like they look like they're like almost military. Like all the stuff that they're carrying and everything. And you will not find a cop that is not packing, like period. So like it trips me out. Like, cause like some of these guns that they're carrying here, they look like they're like little 380s and they don't even have extra clips or nothing. Like they're just, and I've even heard from different Romanians, like some of them don't even have like bullets in them and shit like that. It's just like, oh my God.
So what's the standard edition in America? It's the Glock, in it.
Glock is in some parts. 40 cal is a real popular round. 9mm obviously is popular.
40 cal?
40 cal for a long time was kind of like the magic bullet. You know, it just had really good penetration and really good whichever. And a lot of different departments out here pick those up. So
Okay.
40 cal is one, 9mm is one. You still find some 45 and like 45 ACP in some parts, which is my favorite round, by the way. And by the way, for those that are interested in Glock, I like Glock. It's a good gun. I used to have
Yeah.
what's called a Glock 21, and that
Yeah.
is the 45 ACP. The original had 13 in the clip, and then you could put one in the pipe. And yeah, I thought it was a good gun. I also, for those that are interested in the 45 round, because I think like it has a lot of good stopping power. There's another gun by a company called Para Ordnance. It's called the P14, and that holds 14 rounds, and it's a nice gun, nice right out of the box, you know. And yeah. I mean, like I grew up shooting guns. One of the reasons why I'm so good on a bow is because I grew up shooting guns. Because I learned how to aim with guns, and then I just learned how to aim with a bow, and it was on. You know what I mean? Like it was just okay. Um, so, but yeah, the crazy thing with America, and I know people from other countries, like especially from here, when I talk to people from here too, they find it kind of difficult to comprehend or to keep track of. It's just everybody has a gun, and that's that. Like it's like a second. It's not even a debatable like a big issue. It's just like, oh, you got a gun? Oh, okay. You know, like some people, even the people that don't like believe in guns, they know somebody else has got a gun too. So they're just like, oh, okay, this guy's got a gun. So that's one of the things with America to where you can't really ever get live with somebody is somebody might be having a bad day and they just pull out a pistol and fucking just end it for you. Like that's that.
Wow.
And that happens all the time.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, got gun shops. When I see that on TV, I'm like, what? Gun shop.
It's pretty just like casual there.
Yeah. Before we get a gun over here, we got to make a few phone calls.
I remember one time I was making a run, and I had shit under my back seat, right? But like, you know, the back seat, it was in this Monte Carlo, like not too many people were familiar with that. You could pop that back seat up and there was storage space underneath. And I got pulled over by this LA County sheriff, right? And I had a shotgun and a Glock 21 45 in my trunk in cases, okay? But they were like there in my trunk, right? And this cop pulled me over. I had been smoking a bowl of marijuana, all right? So when he pulled me over, like my ride smelled like weed. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to search your ride and whatever, right? And like it was like he pulled me over so fast that like all I had time to do was just stuff that pipe underneath the seat. So when he like was gonna search me, I was like, oh, he's finding this shit. And one of the things he asked me if I had any weapons, and I was like, yeah, I've got a Glock and a shotgun in the trunk, right? And when he had me sit on the curb and he opened it up and I was like, hey, careful, those guns are loaded. And he said, well, why are they loaded? And I go, well, how do you keep your gun? You know what I mean? And he just kind of like shook his head like, okay, right? And he said, and those guns cost me no problems. Those guns, it was, even though I had that marijuana, even though I had whatever, the guns were legit. You know why I ended up going to jail for the first time in my life? Was because I had a pair of fucking homemade nunchucks in the front seat.
Oh my.
And those are considered a dangerous weapon in California. And I got arrested on it. Guns were legit. Guns were cool. Like, oh, you got guns,
nunchucks, though.
whatever. Yeah, but the nunchucks,
So what's the laws in
those
California?
were the problems.
Open carry in California.
I'm sorry, say it again. Sadiq, can you hear me? Can you guys, Craig, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I think he went offline.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
What's the gun law in California? Is it open carry or?
No, so you have to get what's called a CCW, which is like a concealed weapons permit, if you want to like just carry it around with you, right? But otherwise, you got to have it like in a locked spot. So if you're traveling with it, like it has to be unloaded in your trunk, or like in a locked spot, you know, or whatever. and nowadays you can only have like 10 rounds to each magazine. So like I was talking about how the Glock 21 held 13 plus one. Well,
Yeah.
now it doesn't matter because all you can get is a 10 round magazine. So it's 10 plus one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like even if it can hold more, 10's the limit. So, little stuff like that. It's very strict over there, but I mean, hell, I mean, shit, my wife has a gun. You
Wow.
know what I mean? Oh yeah. Hell, what do you think I was going to leave without her having something? Like I made sure she knew how to use it. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely, man.
yeah, So, yeah, it's just a trip because when you grow up with that mentality, it's weird when you come to other places and like you talk to people that have legitimately never even held a gun. You're just like, oh, okay, you know, like,
Oh man.
yeah,
Let me see. So,
yeah.
so go
USA
ahead. Yeah.
is going to be a bummer spot, like in another like probably 2 or 3 decades. Like, I mean, I know it seems like it now, but it's really going to be a bummer.
Yeah.
It's not. It can't sustain itself because there's too many bad people getting a hold of stuff. You know.
Yeah, that's what I just want to ask you next. What do you guys think is going to happen in November? Elections coming up. What do you guys? What do you predict?
Rioting. Rioting.
Well, you know what? I mean, as far as America goes, like even if like I think that legitly the only way that Democrats would surefire steal the election would be if they pulled some shit like this to where you get to vote from home with like mail in
Mm,
and stuff like that. And like for people that are listening, I'm not like a hardcore like Republican. I'm not like Democrat. Like I don't consider myself any of those. I just have values that like I value. And I don't align myself to one of those parties to where it's like, you get what I'm saying?
indeed.
So it's not anything like that. But it's not sustainable to where just more and more bad guys get armed and more crime happens and more this and that and whatever like
Yeah.
and the thinking is too progressive, so when you give up God, like
Yeah.
anything's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's no good. And that's what in my mind America has done. Like even though like okay, like you guys are Muslim, and like America was like basically founded on Christian principles, but either way there's a God in both of those pictures. Okay, and that
Mm,
God helps keep people and things in like reasonable check. And when you just decide to abandon that, like it's
Gates
a
to hell
recipe for
open.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The gates to hell
yeah,
open.
right,
Because where are the shared values?
right.
You know what I mean? Where are the shared
So
values?
yeah.
I'll agree with this statement right here. Parasitic says, regardless of who wins, the long-term outlook of America is the same. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Not in the least. So, guys, we're up on 53 minutes. We're going to pull this off at an hour. If you guys got questions, now is the time to ask them. We just wanted to come back,
Hey,
catch up, you know.
remember when South Park did that episode with like Trump and Hillary, and it was like they called it a what they call it? They called it like a shit sandwich or a turd sandwich and something
Basically,
something
yeah.
like that. But it was basically like
Well,
you're getting the same either way, and that's what politics is.
yeah.
Politics is that you're getting the same either way. And I know there's probably like young people that might see me saying this. They're like, oh, screw you, whichever. But it's like really, that's you'll get old, and then you'll see that's what it is. So
Mm,
yeah, dude, I think I just got an alert from my AirPods that these are starting to go dead. So
uh, well, I guess we can call a little bit earlier then.
no,
55 minutes.
either way, if anybody's got questions, I'm
Yeah,
down.
I'm
I
waiting,
can
but I don't see
always put
anything
it on the
popping up.
speaker.
Maybe I'm pulling the trigger too fast. Who got questions?
Who's got questions? Where are they? Shoot them.
Yeah. I thought my wolves were over, and now I'm looking at my figures on my machine, and like it's acting crazy. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, I don't know what's going on now. So now I gotta go play with this thing again. I don't know what's going on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's strange. Anyway. So let's see. What do we got here? So, since I see America failing, what would you recommend to prepare to move to? Oh, what country would you recommend to prepare to move to after 5 to 10 years from now?
Hmm.
That's a tough one, man. I mean, all of the West is basically looking kind of crazy with like, all these economies. Any country that's like, Rona panicking and going nuts, I don't, which is all of them. I don't think it's good because they're tanking their economies over something that has like a 99 point. This could get me this video pulled saying this, but it has a 99.96 something like this survival rate, and they're tanking their economies over it. So, man, that's a tough call at this point, bro. Just think back to basically January. Did you ever see where we are now? I mean, predicting that far out, I mean, when just like months ago we didn't even see this coming, that we didn't know 2020 was going to be a crazy year like this. It's a hard call, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun is setting on the west. So you just stay in the sun. That's basically, you know what I mean? The sun is setting on the west, and I think it might even just be something where you just got to stay ahead of the curve by 10, 20 years. So you might have to just hop from country to country. I don't think long term anywhere is going to be safe.
Yeah. That's a tough call, man. This one right here. What do you guys think will happen out of China versus USA trade war that's heating up right now? Dude, does the U.S. trade anything? What do we make anymore?
I mean, yeah, and you know what? That's just like that's the last thing that we need. You know what I mean? Is it's like you know how they say it's hard to fight a battle on two fronts, like on two different whichever. So on top of this other stuff that's going on with the country, then it's like we've got these other issues that are happening too. And you know what? I really can't call it other than the fact that I know that China is super duper ambitious. And like they've been making things happen, behind the scenes. Like they're they ain't slacking, like they aren't. I mean, like if I were, there's like the whole being on Twitter or whatever. There's like money Twitter or whatever like that. They're like doing everything that like money Twitter would tell you to do. They're taking those cold showers, and getting up early, and handling business, and all that. So I mean, it's like they're on it,
That's number one contender for the throne.
Right. So I wouldn't like underestimate China by any means. I guess would be, I guess my roundabout answer is like, I know they're hustling for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Trade war. I don't think it's a good idea. Like you said, it's trade war with China.
Yeah.
Look, pick up something in your house. Something solid, not non-medical, pills or something, and tell me it's not made in China. I mean, it's so everything's made in China. You don't want to go to war with these guys. Yeah. And and here's the thing, man. I mean, a lot of people seem to forget this. China's at war with the world, and the world just hasn't realized it yet. If you pay attention to the actions of China, they've been at war with the rest of the world for quite some time, and just nobody else knows it. So it just
agreed.
We got one here from Rishi. That's a bit. Based on the signs we've seen and the prophecies becoming true, is Qiyamah near? I mean, yeah, many of the ulama have said this. This is more like a Muslim question. But for sure, death is near, for all of us as individuals. So just prepare for that, bro. If you prepare for death, then inshallah, you prepared for Qiyamah. That's the beauty of Islam. The one prepares you for the other. So, yeah.
All right, are we good?
I think we're good. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Next week, inshallah, we'll be back. I think we'll be back on regular. I think we're gonna pull Sundays because it's just during the week it's too complicated, huh?
And I'll be in California, so that'll be
nice.
Cool. All right.
That nice weather where it never rains.
Right. Oh, that'll be a little bit of a different time deal if we're doing it right about now because shit, what time? I don't even know what time it is right now. Hold on. So it's like 6 a.m. in California right now. So we might have to do this a little bit later.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm cool with that. As long as it's on Sunday.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
So catch next week on Sunday. We'll have a topic, and we just want to catch up. We've been busy. We literally have been rarely talking to each other, let alone anywhere.
I've been missing it.
Yeah,
I miss talking to these guys, man. What the hell?
Indeed, it's been the same.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we'll be back, and hopefully with a topic. Oh, we'll have a topic, of course.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to OG Logic.